Now then YouTube, I'm the Toffman and welcome back to some more Thaumcraft and Botania Unite. Now, I'm still only halfway through that little build over there that you can see at the start of this episode. Of course, me doing that little bit of a montage thing going on there. Speed build, time-lapse kind of thing. I'm only halfway through doing it. I'm not entirely finished yet, as you can probably see. Now, for those of you wondering just why I've got these little steps of dirt going up there, it's to let the grass actually grow. I want grass up here. I don't want dirt up here because it looks horrible. So I want grass up here. And the only way to do that is, of course, to build these steps up and let the grass just grow. Up here, let it overtake all of this. And, of course, this is where the day blooms are going to be. And something else is going to be over there when I get a chance to do that. This is just one of the little white, them white daisy things. It's called the white daisy, isn't it? Pure daisy, that's the one. A pure daisy, it's just one of the things that's going to be around here. I may take up this fence and actually do something a little bit more elaborate around here. I'm not quite sure just yet. However, it's taken a while for these things to grow, and it's taken a long time, and I want to get into it. I want to get into some more stuff, guys, for you, and to show you some new stuff that's happening. If I go in here, somebody says, put a pressure plate on your door. It's a very good idea, that. Which is just here. Woo. Now I've got a pressure plate on there. So, if I look in my inventory, you can see there's something that's changed here. There is no longer the baubles button from Vazkir. It's actually now being put into Thaumcraft. So you can have into Thaumcraft and then just click on there and it'll bring up your baubles button, your baubles menu, which is great. It's fantastic. Now, where was I? Last episode, I was just about to start with the Thaumometer and to go into the basics of this Thaumometer and where to start and how to do all sorts of different stuff. Now, I'm going to do this as if you've never seen Thaumcraft ever before. This is your key ingredient to Thaumcraft. You obviously start off within Thaumcraft by getting yourself some iron, getting yourself a stick, getting yourself a wand, and getting yourself a bookcase. Right-clicking on the bookcase with that wand, and you will get yourself the Thaumometer, as you saw at the end of the last episode. If you right-click, you will open the Thaumometer, and you'll see lots of things that are flashing, and things that aren't flashing, and things that are greyed out. Now, the stuff that aren't flashing, and just are there, you can go ahead and you can click on them, and you can read to your heart's content. Of course, it tells you the Thaumometer is a mystical construct. You've got to right-click an iron-capped wooden wand on a bookshelf, which we already know about. And you can go ahead and read a whole load of different things about Thaumcraft inside here. Now, the real meat and potatoes of Thaumcraft is here, where you see things flashing. This is how you discover certain things within the mod. You cannot build or you cannot do anything with this type of with this thing unless you've discovered it. You don't have access to it. And if you hover over it, you'll say you need some scribing tools and paper to get this research note. So, unfortunately, I don't think we've got any paper anywhere. But we do have some feathers to make some scribing tools. We just need ink sacks. So I need to go out into the world, it seems, and find myself some sugarcane and find myself some ink sacks. I think, can we do that with black dye? No, I don't. I think we can just do it with ink sacks. I think that's it. That's all we can do it with. So, okay, it's just about to go night time once again. Let's go into our bed. It's nearly there. There we go. Now I'm in bed. In the morning, I will be going out looking for some sugarcane, looking for some bits and bobs with the ink sacs, and I'll be back. Well, looky what we have here. A nice supply of ink sacs, that's for sure. It's nice to see that it's right next to my base as well, where I got the clay from in my previous episode when I was doing the flower pot. I managed to find some. Now, the reason why I'm looking around water is, of course, sugarcane will grow on the side of water or any kind of body of water. So I'm just looking around here and I managed to find these. So this is a great start. Oh yeah, plenty of ink sacs. Come on, come here. Don't be shy. I'm only just going to kill you and rip away your ink sacs. It's absolutely fine. So we've got 14 ink sacs now, which is great. I need to wander around this dark forest and see whether or not we can find any sugarcane on the outsides, on the outskirts of this. Now, be very, very careful, because in this dark forest, you will get mobs that can spawn. So, new 1.7, which is great. I love this dark forest, though. I really do. I think it's such a great, great biome to add in. Anything here? No? No, it doesn't seem so. We can continue around, and I will be back when I found some sugarcane. Well, in my pursuit for sugarcane, I have now managed to find another village, which is great. Let's have a look in this village, see if we can find any loots or anything like that. I do need some bread, actually, while I'm here, so I won't mind just nicking half of your food stock. I do apologise, villagers. I would say I'd replant it, but really, I'm probably not going to be coming back here anytime soon, so probably not. I have enough to... I think there should be a crafting table somewhere around in here somewhere. Nothing in there. I wonder if there's going to be a Thaumcraft one, a Thaumcraft like little church thing inside this village. There is a dungeon loot chest in that, so it would be nice if we could find one, but I don't think there actually is. I can't see anything that remotely looks like one. Certainly, I don't see anything that actually just goes any higher in the air at all. So let's have a look in this chest. There must be a chest in the corner of this. There is. There is, oh, an iron chest plate. That's nice. And a saddle. Brilliant. So let's pop that onto there. And, yeah, it looks like it's pretty much about it there. There's another body of water over here. And I spy some sugarcane, guys. Get in. That is exactly what I'm looking for. My goodness gracious me, that took a while. I've actually gone quite a ways to find sugarcane. See if there's any more actually floating around. No. I don't think there is. Right, I'll make my way back home then, and I will plant this sugarcane, wait for a little bit more to grow, and I'll be back once I've got some paper. Ooh, now this is very interesting. On my way back from the village, just over there to my home, which is just over there somewhere, I found this. Now, this is an obsidian totem, and there is actually an aura node right in the top middle of that. And as you can see, it's actually... it's tainting the ground around it. Now, if we actually have a look in the F3, it's plains here, but you get to here, and it starts being airy. Now, eventually, this will actually turn to taint, I believe. Or at least it used to. I don't know if anything's changed with that one. But I will keep an eye on this. I'll keep a note of where this actually is by pressing F3 and going -109, 224, Z and X coordinates. I will keep an eye on where that is. And I'll be back at a later stage so I can show you something about that little thing there. So, again, I will meet you when I'm back home. Okay, so let's go ahead and start our sugarcane farm right here. And eventually this side is also going to be sugarcane. Oh, no, hang on a minute. No, that side is also going to be sugarcane as well. So that we've got a nice supply of paper coming in. Believe me, you will need to do that with Thaumcraft. So, I've got 3 spare sugarcanes here, so that's great. We can go ahead and make some paper. Now, the reason we want to make this, guys, is we need some scribing tools, as what it says in the book. And for this, we're going to need a glass bottle, a feather, and an ink sac, or actually black powder. I should have had a look at that, actually. I could have got that. Instead of having to go out for ink sacs, I could have actually got that. Never mind. We're going to need that anyway. So, glass bottles is what we're going to need. No, I don't think I've actually got any sand. Or at least I don't think I have. No, I actually haven't got any sand for making glass. Oh, hang on a minute, it's just about to get dark. So I think it's another trip out for some sand. Alright guys, well I've got just short of a stack of sand and I've put some in here to make some glass. I've gone ahead and I've made my glass bottles, which of course is just 3 glass, one there, one there, one there. And we can get the glass bottle, we can get the feather, and we can get the ink sac. Now don't worry guys, it is a shapeless recipe, you can put it wherever you like and it will do the job, it will give you the scribing tools. Now make sure you've got paper, and make sure you've got scribing tools in your inventory, because you're going to need them for the next step of this. Now, I'm hoping this works because there's a few changes that have obviously gone on within the beta, and there's a few things that haven't quite worked properly that have been fixed since. Now, I don't know whether or not, because I've loaded this up in an earlier world, whether those problems will exist. Now, this here, you'll see there's a shadow around here. This is forbidden research, and apparently it's not been fully implemented yet, so I'm not sure exactly what that is and what you need to be able to get that particular piece of research. Very interested to know what exactly will be going on there though. Now I've got a scribing tools and I've got some paper in my inventory. These flashing ones, advanced node tapping and research expertise that are flashing along here, you will need to find these before you can get to these. Okay? You can't get to these blocks out ones until you've found the ones previous to that. Warp, flux, and all things bad. That's going to be new. That is new for 4.2, guys, and I'll go through that at a later stage. I think I might tease you a little bit in this episode, but who knows? Thaumaturgy, again, this starts with basic wandcraft. You can go inside here and read all that. I'm not going to go out and read all that, you know, for you guys. It is in the normal Thaumcraft as well for 1.6.4, so you can see that there. And of course, you can go ahead and click on these, and you will notice, guys, that throughout this, it has the same thing. These are flashing. That's not flashing. You need to get this one before you can get that one. You do not have the required aspects to purchase this. Some of them will allow you to go out and straight out buy the ability to know what research that is, depending on the configs that are set. Now, default is this, what I'm playing on now. You don't have the required aspects to purchase this. If you have a certain amount of aspects, and we'll get to this a little bit later on, you will be able to just go out and straight out buy the research without having to research them. And it will make more sense as I'm going along. General rule of thumb, guys, if it's got a square background, it's usually something that you have to get a research note to actually find. If it's got a background that is, let me find it, there, like this, if it's got like a hexagonal, I think that is, yeah, 6 sides, that's hex. If it's got a hexagonal background, then it's basically something that you can go out and purchase. You can buy that, which is great. You know, it's a nice little thing to have. So we're going to start right at the top here, though. There is research expertise here. We're going to go down this line because it's key. When you're starting things off, go down this line, research expertise. It just makes knowing research a little bit easier. So as you can see in blue right in there, it says click to get a research note for this research. Research note added to our inventory for research expertise. And there we have our research note. Now, we can't do anything with this because, well, we can't right click on it. It's not going to do anything. We need some tables. It's a Thaumcraft item. It's down here. We need planks and we need slabs. Now we should have all of those bits and bobs. I'll go and use some oak wood for this. Doesn't really matter which wood you use. We're going to need 3 in total. 1, 2, 3 of them. Good. Now, going into this room over here, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that for a second. And I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of this because it's going to be right in the way. Now don't worry guys, this research table will not be staying in here. I will be moving it. Place 2 next to each other and 1 by itself. Get your iron capped wooden wand and right click on the one by itself. Now this will create an arcane work table which is used in some of the recipes within Thaumcraft. And once you right click on there, your wand will automatically get placed inside this table. So I'm going to take that back out again because I don't want it in there just for the moment. Now we're going to need... forget what it's called now. I think it's just... What is it called now? I don't know. I'd forget my head if it wasn't screwed on. We need the scribing tools. We need either a new set of scribing tools or used ones. It really doesn't matter. And we're going to go ahead and right click on these 2 tables together. I'm not going to click on this side because it looks a little bit better when it's done like this. It will turn into like this little multi-block structure. Now if we right click on this, this is our research table, and this is what I was afraid of, the bug that I said. Now, I'm going to go ahead and try to fix this. I will be back in just a second. And there we go, fixed it. Awesome. Right, we're going to put the scribing tools up there. Now, this is the basic place that you will go to find pretty much all of your research. We've got our research expertise research note by left clicking on it. We put that in this slot over here. Now, you can see that we've got question marks down here. Oh, wow. Well, we need to find these question marks because we don't know how to get from here to here. Starting off, guys, you've got 6 primal aspects. You've got air, water, fire, order, entropy, which is chaos, and earth. You can find all of the different aspects, compound aspects, by doing these ones together. So in other words, I'm going to go ahead and put water and earth together, and you'll see we've managed to create ourselves some Victus. And that's the basic kind of thing of it. If you've ever played, oh, I can't remember what it was called now. There was a game on the thing where you've got to add them together to find something later on down the line. This is very, very simple. You've got the primal aspects, which are these 6 here, and then you get compound aspects, which are made up of all the primal aspects, or compound and primal, or just compound and compound. So if we go ahead and do life and earth, oops, I've got to get rid of them, life and earth, we will of course find ourselves herba, which is a really good start to getting down the line with some of these. Unfortunately, it still hasn't unlocked some of these, so we're going to have to go out and find a few bits more. Alright, so I'm going to work on, guys, the tier 1 aspects, what I like to call them, tier 1 aspects, which are basically the primal plus a primal will get you something else. So we're going to work on that right now. And I know for a fact that water and order will create... Oh, hang on a second. Maybe that one's actually been taken out. There are a few that have been taken out for the new version on 4.2. So this is obviously one of them. Well, that should have been Gellum, that one, or Gellum, I think. There is fire and entropy. Oh, there you are. It's actually that one, which will create, of course, Gellum. So that's great. Let's take that out. There is lux, which is a mixture of air and fire, which is this little thing here. Nothing has actually come up yet for research expertise, and I know why, because it's not actually, I haven't found the ones yet, which is pretty obvious, but I know which ones I'm looking for. Air and order is motus, and order, I think it's order and fire. Yes, Potentia, that's the one. And that is really, really useful going forwards, guys. Make sure you get a few points of that. Now, every time that you do this, you are, of course, using points. So you can see these little numbers by the side of your aspects here. And you can see there's 3 there, there's 3 there. I think that's 2. Yeah, because they used 1 to create the herba. Every time you combine one with another, it will lower those particular aspects, but also up the one that you're after. So in other words, I just, in the next one here, I'm going to go for Terra and Terra. Now that will use 2 Terra, but it will create in turn, and it won't create in turn, because apparently it doesn't exist anymore, Saxum. It's been a while, guys. It's been a while. Air and Peditio. Yes, vacuous. Now that, of course, used 1 air and 1 Peditio, but it did create 3 vacuous in exchange for that, which is great. Now, it won't always create 3 every time you put them together. If I was to do another one, it's only 1. It's because we've just found it that it creates 3 straight off the bat for you, which is great. I like that. Now, we've got Victus as well. I think that is all of the tier 1 aspects, and you can see we still haven't unlocked the ones that we need to find. So off camera for a little bit, guys, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get myself as many of these as I possibly can get to the point where I can actually find these little bits and bobs. Now, this is not only the way that you can use to be able to find aspects. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to do a few more, but I am going to start getting into actually creating something within Thaumcraft that's really, really going to help me out. And I don't think actually I've got the materials to actually make it, but I will definitely have a look. So, in fact, no, let's go ahead and do that now. I'll leave that for another time, because I want to go through the other way to find aspects. If we have a look Oh yeah, by the way, guys, if you forget which way round to add things in, you can look at aspects of magic and go towards these pages, and the ones that you've managed to find will be listed inside here. So lux we've obviously found with air and ignis, and it will just give you a little bit of a helping hand in case you forget, because there's quite a lot of them, in case you forget how things actually work. But there is something else a bit later on down the line that will help you remember these things without having to look inside here all the time. So we're going to go into, I think it's artifice actually. Artifice, here it is. We need a thaumometer, which is 2 gold ingots, a glass, and any 2 shards. Okay, so yeah, that's cheaper than I can actually remember. It's been a while since I actually created something. I'm usually in creative mode going through all a load of stuff. So a couple of bits of glass, which I've got plenty of that in here, and a gold. Okay, I think that was just a normal crafting table. Yeah, just a normal workbench. It's actually the other way around. It's 2 gold and 1 glass. That is fine. 1 glass, 2 pieces of gold, and 2 shards. And there we have our thaumometer. Now, this does a variety of different things, guys. If I actually look through the thermometer here, you can see that it actually tells me what I'm looking at. There's a glass pane in here, there's oak wood planks, there's cobblestone, there's a pressure plate, there's a crafting table, a chest, all this kind of good stuff, bookshelf, torch. Now, the key aspect about this, to be able to find different aspects that you haven't found yet, I'm going to go ahead and right click and keep it held. So you can see I've got 1 research point for Peditio and 1 for Terra. It's just popped down on the right hand side there if you see that. If I look at glass, you can see that nothing can be learned from this. Now, I know for a fact I'm probably not going to be able to find this one just yet. There. To understand this, you need to study tools. Now, that's a little bit of a change, actually, from when I've last played Thaumcraft. Usually it would say you don't have the knowledge to require this, to find this. So, well, that's a little bit different. Oak wood planks. And we've managed to discover a new aspect, arbor. And we've got 3 points for arbor right there, which is great. Crafting table, I don't think would be. Now, for stuff that you can actually open, like chests or crafting tables, you need to shift and right click on. And you can see, to study this, you need to study man. We've got some vacuous and some arbor there. Anything from the bookshelf? Not quite yet. We need to study spirits. And that's not the alcoholic type of spirit. Torch, we should be able to get that. That is lux. Now, we've discovered a clue to a new research. Do you see that down the right hand side there? Which is great. I believe... I thought it actually wrote it to the paper. Oh, it's because we don't have scribing tools. No. Make sure you've got some scribing tools and some paper in your inventory. And when you see it down the right hand side there, when it says you've discovered a clue to a new research, if you've got scribing tools and paper in there, it will give you a research paper without you having to go and click on the in the Thaumonomicon for it, which is good. So right, I think we've done a wooden door. Need to study tools. Let's go outside, maybe. Carrot. Nope, we need to study man. Dirt, of course, will give you terra. Gravel will give you terra as well. And there's a whole load of stuff that you can go through and get different bits and bobs. Grass. Air. In fact, I might be wasting valuable stuff here. Let me get an ink sac. One of these and one of them. And let me get another set of scribing tools. Good stuff, because you never know. I might find some different stuff. I'm going to go ahead and do seeds. A bit of birch wood. You can do all the different types of wood and all the different types of leaves as well. Birch sapling, why not? That'll give me arbor, and I'm getting a lot of arbor and herba, and that's basically because it's just the things that I'm looking for. Oh, there's some ignis and some bits and bobs. Slabs. Awesome. Fence. I think that's all there is up here. I wonder if these have got aspects. No, nothing can be learned from this. I can go ahead and do that hardened clay and that hardened clay because they're different colours. So I don't think these will, because of course these are from Botania as well. Nope, nothing can be learned from that. Oh, smooth stone. That'd be a good one to get. Terra. Used to be Saxum, you see. There used to be a lot more different aspects in these primal ones. Potatoes. No, nothing. Oh, I need to be studying man. Water. Will, of course, give me aqua. There's a lot of different stuff that you can do, of course, with this. And you can discover new bits and bobs. New... What's the word I'm looking for? I always get myself tongue-tied with these things. New aspects, that's the one. You can get new aspects by just finding things in the world. And you can also add to your pool of aspects by finding things in the world. It says you have discovered this, or you've gained so-and-so with this, or you've gained so-and-so with that. So let's just put... You can also chuck things on the ground, guys, and right-click, and you can find it that way. And we've discovered Vitreous, which is great. Don't think we'll be able to get this just yet, because I think we need man to be able to discover this. Nope, we need to study tools, which, if we get an iron shovel and pop that out, that's classed as a tool. We need to study man. So to get man, we are going to need to... Let me just go ahead and get my little bit of a sheet out that I've got over here. Because one of these I'm actually going to need... We need Spiritus, Life, and Mortis. We need... What do we need for Mortis, actually? That could be a useful one to get. Ah, of course. I remember this now. We need Peditio, and we also need Life. And that will create ourselves Mortis. Now, Mortis can then be combined... If I go down here... Back with Life again... To create Spiritus... And then Spiritus can be then crafted along with Earth to get Cognitio. And there is one of the bits and bobs that we need to be able to find ourselves research expertise. There are a bit more bits and bobs and more to find. I'm going to do that in between episodes though. I've given you the basic gist on how you find aspects, how you gain more aspects. Don't worry guys, there is a way later on, actually not that far later on down the line. When it comes to this stuff, it's right there. There is a way of gaining yourself primal aspects by breaking down items, which I'll get to, of course, in a future episode. In between episodes, I'm going to go ahead and get myself as many of these aspects as I can so that I can get into and get my teeth sunk right into these research notes and really maybe go on a little bit of a run of different research and bits and bobs in there. Really quickly before I end the episode, though, I want to be able to go out and see if I can find myself something with the Thaumonomicon. Now, outside in the world, in fact, I know exactly where there will be definitely one of them. Aura nodes. You can go ahead and you can find aura nodes outside in your world. Now, usually if you're wandering around like this, they're only a dim, tiny little light. So I very much doubt that you'll be able to see them unless you're really, really looking for them. If you're holding this in your hand, it will show up really, really bright. And it will also show up through blocks. Now, I know for a fact there is one over there because that's where the obsidian totem is. So why don't we make our way over towards that? In fact, it might be around this side of the forest. I think I've ran out into this part. Yeah. See if we can get to that before the end of the episode so I can show you just how it is. Because I'm going to be wandering around the world and trying to find aura nodes as well. Because they are very, very useful later on down the line in Thaumcraft. So you'll definitely have to find yourself quite a few of those. Now I know for a fact there's one inside here. As you can see, there is one. And it's brightly lit up right there. You can see it. If I was not to have that, you won't be able to see it at all. So, obsidian tile. It's a sinister node, and look at all that stuff we just managed to find there. Tenebrae, we've got we've discovered, we've gained 2 Mortis, Petitio, Terra, and Tenebrae in there as well. The obsidian tile is this, but it's also given us the sinister node, and what's inside the sinister node inside there as well. We can also look at the obsidian totem. We found Alienis, another one. Oh, might as well get lava while we're here. Bit of that. You can also look at mobs. Oh, Bestia. That's one that we needed. That is definitely the one that we needed. There are vanilla flowers around here. There we are. Census. There's another one. Another new one. So basically just go out in the world, find yourself as much stuff as you possibly can, guys, because you're going to run through those research points really, really quickly, and you'll want to do that. Anyway, guys, I think that pretty much wraps up the basics of Thaumcraft, and really that's only touching the surface of Thaumcraft. There is so much to do in Thaumcraft. Honestly, guys, I love that mod, and it's definitely my favourite mod. It is definitely my favourite mod, without doubt. And yeah, so that's what I'm going to be doing in between episodes, just wandering around, me and my thaumometer. Thaumometer. No? Yeah, it is. It's the thermometer. There you go. Thaumometer. I've turned American for this, just for the funnies, which is great. All right, guys, that is going to be it for the end of this episode. Let me go inside the house there. We've got a nice half-an-hour episode there. Oh, sugarcane. Done wheat. Dirt. Hoed ground, that is. Alright, yeah, I'm good. I get carried away. Let me go inside my house here. And actually, was Bestia the last one of them? No, Census was. There you go. We can work on this next episode, and I'll show you how to find a research. What you do with these particular things to be able to get the particular research so you can actually find it. But we'll get into that next episode. If you've enjoyed this episode, please go ahead and leave a like on this episode. If I've been useful at all to you, if I've covered something, or if I haven't covered something, make sure you go ahead and drop it down in the comment section below so that people will know exactly what I'm on about. Because I can get a little bit tongue-tied and a little bit blah, blah, blah. So, anyway, guys, till next time, thank you very much for watching, and as always, stay safe.